Most Christians imagine heaven as quiet, peaceful, maybe even boring. But the Bible describes something far more astonishing. A feast, a celebration, a table stretching beyond time, beyond galaxies, beyond imagination. And at the head of that table, not a king demanding tribute, Christ himself. This isn't poetic exaggeration. It's the promised climax of history. Stay with me. By the end of this, you'll see why every celebration on earth feels incomplete. Why earthly celebrations fall short. Think of the greatest celebration you've attended. A wedding? A holiday dinner? A championship party? For a moment, everything feels full. Then it ends. Lights dim, music stops, guests leave, leftovers grow cold. There's always a quiet ache. It didn't last. And that ache is exactly why God promises something eternal. The banquet God prepares. In Book of Isaiah 25, Isaiah says, "On this mountain, the Lord of hosts will make for all peoples a feast of rich food, a feast of well-aged wine." Notice who prepares it? God himself. And before the feast begins, the veil is lifted. Right now, we see reality partially, dimmed, filtered, limited. One day, the curtain comes down. We see everything as it truly is. This feast is not a side note. It's the destination. History moves toward it. Why food matters? Isaiah's feast is physical. Rich food, marrow-filled delicacies, aged wine refined. Why describe eternity in flavors and textures? Because hunger is universal. We hunger for food, for security, for joy, for love that lasts. God speaks in the language we understand: satisfaction, abundance, pleasure. Heaven is not minimal, it's lavish, and the host delights in our delight. The divine host serves. Then Jesus makes it unforgettable. In Gospel of Luke 12, he says, "The master returns, and instead of being served, he serves his people." In the ancient world, masters were served, servants stood. Here, the divine host wraps a towel around his waist and serves. The king who reigns is the king who kneels. The banquet is not just abundance, it's intimacy. Christ draws near, he rejoices, he serves. Who's at the table? Now zoom out. The guests arrive from every century, every language, every nation. Book of Revelation 19 calls it the marriage supper of the Lamb. Kings and martyrs, children and elders, the unseen faithful, the obscure, the overlooked. Every human division dissolves. Race, class, politics, history, gone. At this table, the deepest human longing is fulfilled, not just to eat, but to belong. The death of death. Then Isaiah says, "He will swallow up death forever." Death is not delayed, it is defeated. No hospital rooms, no cancer, no grief, no graves. The feast stands where the grave once reigned. Every tear is wiped away, every injustice answered, every act of faith validated. Living with an eternal appetite. So what do we do now? We cultivate an eternal appetite. Earthly celebrations are appetizers. Obedience is RSV to glory. Communion whispers of a greater table. One day, the veil lifts, the music rises, the table stretches beyond sight, and Christ himself welcomes his redeemed. The great heavenly banquet is not fantasy, it is promise, and your seat is being prepared.